Coupe SUVs are getting more and more popular, like this Mercedes-Benz GLE 450. The recipe is pretty simple. Take a standard SUV and put the body of a sleek four-door sedan on top of it. So, does it actually work? Let's go for a drive and find out. So in the GLE 450, you will find a 3-liter turbocharged inline-6 engine under the hood. It produces 362 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. Mercedes-Benz claims a 0 to 100 km/h time of 5.7 seconds. However, Mercedes-Benz tends to be very conservative with their 0 to 100 times, and I think that under the most ideal conditions, this will probably hit that 0 to 100 sprint in about 5.5 seconds. But acceleration times aside, this engine is one of my favorites out there. Not only because it's a inline-6, so it's inherently smooth, but because it is also powerful and very fuel efficient. It has these attributes because it is paired with a 48-volt mild hybrid system. It consists of an electric supercharger and an integrated electric motor. So the electric supercharger provides the turbocharger with extra air to get it up to speed, and the electric motor just helps the engine with providing bursts of acceleration. It provides an additional 21 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. Of course, this car cannot drive on electricity alone, but because of the electric motor and that electric supercharger, which by the way does not have quite as much parasitic draw as a mechanical supercharger, this engine is, like I said, very powerful and efficient, but also very responsive. You can put your foot down from, say, 1,000 RPMs without letting the transmission downshift, and it'll just pull right up to the almost 6,500 RPM red line. And as for the efficiency side of it, I'm currently averaging about 11.4 liters per 100 kilometers. I know I can do better, but even still, that's really impressive for something that weighs as much as a humpback whale. Officially, the 2022 Mercedes-Benz GLE 450 Coupe can achieve up to 11.7 liters per 100 kilometers in a city and 9.2 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway. It can genuinely reach those fuel economy targets because of the EQ Boost mild hybrid system. On highways, if you put the car into the Eco Drive mode, then the engine will shut off for brief periods when you're coasting. This allows the car to travel just a little bit further without losing too much momentum to engine braking. Of course, if you touch the throttle pedal again or apply enough braking force, then the engine will immediately turn back on. In a city environment, it can do the same thing so long as you're traveling faster than 50 kilometers an hour or so. As well, the auto start-stop system will shut off the engine before you arrive at a complete stop, thus saving you a little bit more fuel. All of these little bits of fuel savings can add up over the course of a fuel tank. But around corners, this is not exactly the same as its bigger AMG brother, as in, it doesn't really corner the same way. The steering is much lighter, and on center it pretty much has no feel whatsoever. You can improve it by switching to sport mode, and actually you can have the individual drive mode set up so that the engine is in eco mode, for example, and the steering is in sport mode. However, it's still not quite enough to make it a more enjoyable driving experience. But do you know what? That's okay, because this is not meant to be the sporty trim level of the GLE. That's the 53 and the 63 AMGs. And by the way, if you are interested in the GLE 63 AMG Coupe, I did a review of it a while back, so you can check it out up here. As for the transmission, it is a 9-speed automatic that for the most part is smooth at shifting gears. At times, although very rarely, You may feel the transmission downshifting as it couldn't react as quickly as it was expecting you to slow down. However, like I said, it happens very rarely and it's usually from third to second or second to first. You can change gears yourself with the paddle shifters, but there's a bit of a delay from the time that you pull on the paddle to the time the transmission reacts. Either way, most of the time the SUV will remain in normal automatic mode. Overall, the GLE 450 is more of a commuter type of vehicle rather than a sporty, coupe-ish looking SUV. And for daily commutes, taking the kids to school, doing errands, does a good job of it. Although this vehicle was an option with the air suspension, the ride is still compliant in most situations. It does feel a little bit firmer than a GLE that is optioned with the air suspension, but the car will still provide a comfortable ride during daily commutes or road trips. Inside the GLE 450 Coupe, it looks, well, exactly the same as the standard GLE SUV. You get the same 10.25-inch screens, the same climate controls, and the same touchpad interface for the infotainment system, as well as the same grab handles for when you go off-roading, if you decide to take your GLE 450 Coupe off the beaten path. You also get the same steering wheel with these BlackBerry-style touchpads and individual buttons and toggle switches. I much prefer this one over the newer style steering wheel that is in E-Class models and S-Class models. However, I have seen spy photos of the mid-cycle update for the GLE, and unfortunately it will be getting the new style of steering wheel with the double spoke design that is on the E53 AMG, which, by the way, if you're interested in that video review, you can check it out up here. But my problem with that one is that those are all capacitive touch buttons and they are just way too finicky and too much of a distraction when you're driving. My only complaint with this interior is with the leather. It is real leather, it's not the synthetic leather. I think Mercedes-Benz calls it Artico or Dynamica, I can't remember. But it's very coarse to the touch. So I highly recommend you get the optional Napa leather. It is a little on the expensive side, I think it's about $3,500 Canadian, but I think it's well worth it. As for interior space, I am 6'4" and legroom, not a problem. Headroom, not really a problem up here in the front. This seat is all the way down, but I can slide it further back. And even though it is all the way down, I still sit really high up, so I have very good visibility out the front and the side. In the back, not so much. That sloping roof is really restrictive on rear visibility. And speaking of the rear, let's go sit in the back. The biggest difference between this GLE Coupe and the standard GLE is right here in the back. The Coupe actually has a shorter wheelbase, and as you can see behind my driving position, my knees are just gently brushing up against the back of the front seat. However, take a look at the standard GLE and how much leg space I have there. And it's the same story with headroom. There is a nice indentation here for my head behind the panoramic sunroof, but in the standard GLE, I have a little bit more headroom. Also, as you can probably tell from the camera, it is quite dark back here. Black roof liner, tinted windows, and even with the panoramic sunroof open, it still is quite dark and claustrophobic feeling. But anyway, let's go see the trunk now. So on paper, this actually has a tiny bit more cargo capacity with the rear seats up than the standard GLE. But because of the sloping roofline, you can't really fit very tall items in the back. And of course, once you fold down those rear seats, then the standard GLE will have a lot more cargo capacity than this coupe version. Now let's talk about the price. The 2022 Mercedes-Benz GLE 450 Coupe 4Matic has a starting price that is $6,000 Canadian more than a regular GLE 450. It will set you back $86,600 Canadian before you add any options to it. This particular demo vehicle is far from being fully loaded, and yet it costs $96,700 Canadian. For the 2022 model year, The GLE 450 Coupe is not available in the United States. At least I couldn't see it anywhere on their website. Only the GLE 53 AMG Coupe is available. For the starting price, you're getting the standard luxury features: heated seats, heated steering wheel, panoramic sunroof, power liftgate, leather upholstery, heated and chilled front cup holders, navigation, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto integration, and dual 10.25-inch infotainment and driver display screens. It's enough gadgets to get you by, but the only package and option you should really consider adding is the premium package and the Nappa leather option. It is a bit pricey at $7,000 Canadian for both items, but you'll not only be getting the softer leather seats, you'll also get keyless go, Burmeister surround sound system, foot activated tailgate, heated armrests in the front, heated second row seats, and a 360 camera. And now for the elephant outside the room: styling. Like I said at the start of the video, coupe SUVs are supposed to be an SUV with the sleek styling of a four-door sedan. But to me, it just ends up looking very bulbous and disproportionate somehow. But then again, looks are subjective, so some of you might find this actually attractive. Personally, I don't. However, that brings me to the conclusion. See, if you're looking for something practical, then what's wrong with the standard GLE? That one is actually really good. And if you want something practical and stylish, take a look at the E450 all-terrain wagon. That one has the exact same engine as this. It's more fuel efficient, it's less expensive, it has almost the same amount of space inside, and it has 7 seats. Plus, wagons are cool again. But from a technical standpoint, this GLE 450 is very impressive. However, like I said, I am not sold on this body. To me, it does not look good. But if it does look good to you and you want to know more about this GLE 450 Coupe, I wrote a more detailed review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner up here. And as always, I will see you in the next car or truck or most likely another SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.